Royal Canin, incredible in every detail.
Welcome to Pure Dog Talk. I'm your host, Laura Reeves, and I am joined today by John Cox. And John is an obedience judge. He happens to be the judge for obedience at Westminster Kennel Club, which is pretty fun. John is also a very long time St. Bernard exhibitor and fancier, so we're going to hear a little bit about that. So welcome, John.
Thank you very much.
Talk to us about obedience at Westminster. This is a brand new event, right?
Brand new. It started in 2016. This is the third year of obedience. It's a little different from AKC obedience.
Yes.
We have round one, which is a mixture of open and utility exercises. There's only 5. And then you go into round 2, and that's kind of a performance, which is designed by the handler. And they have to meet specific elements, requirements, and then they can do their own routine of what they want to do, and it's judged as a 100-point score.
For each round, correct?
No, round 1 is 200 points.
Okay.
Round 2 is 100 points.
Okay.
So you total those 2 rounds together at the end, and that's where you get your placements.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is very fun. I know podcast listeners will remember our podcast with David Haddock,
Right.
and David is sort of in charge of the obedience aspect, right?
He is. He's
Okay.
responsible for getting it going
Yes.
at Westminster.
Yes. And I just think it is so much fun because it is such a different concept, right?
It is. Back in the 30s, they used to have obedience demonstrations, but
Right.
this is the first time it's actually been judged.
Right. And
The
how
last 3
many
years.
people do you have? How many
There's
entries?
24 dogs that are entered. There's 34 maximum that can,
Okay.
enter. but
Right.
They only had 24.
And I think that we're going to see, and we're going to have video and still photos, so we'll be able to see some of these, and I'm excited to see all of the different performances for round 2, right?
Right. Absolutely. So am I. I mean, it can be very creative.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so the scoring for round 1 is the same as what we're familiar with a traditional.
Exactly. It's
Okay.
scored just like the obedience regulations.
Okay.
Specifically.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then round 2, is that sort of up to you?
No, it's not up to me. They have certain elements that they have to do. One of them is heel work.
Okay.
They have to do a left turn, a right turn, an about turn, a fast and a slow, and a halt.
Okay.
Somewhere in their routine.
Okay.
And then they have to jump. They have to go over 2 jumps.
Okay.
And they'll have the regular AKC jumps in there, 1 or 2, but the dog has to jump twice. Or they can have additional jumps, one of their own, which might be a platform or something like that.
Okay.
And then they have to do a retrieve. It doesn't have to be a dumbbell. It can be a toy or some object that they have in their routine.
Okay.
And then they have to do a go out, which the dog goes half the distance of the long dimension of the ring, at least half the distance.
Okay.
And then they have the changing of position, which can be done either after the go out or any time during their routine, where the dog has to do a sit, a stand, and a down at a distance.
Okay. So similar to that's the utility exercise that they do
Right.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not necessarily in any order.
Right. So this is now part of that creative piece.
That's part of that creative piece, and that's part of the judging that I do to make sure that they meet those particular elements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other part of it is just the willingness and the enjoyment of the dog, and you're dealing with a different species,
Yeah.
and the communication between the two and how they relate to each other is also being
Wow.
judged. And
See, that's
that
so
becomes
much
very-
fun.
It becomes very subjective in that part.
Yes.
I mean, let's face it, it's kind of like watching the Olympic ice skating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got certain elements, but then there's that creativity that you're judging. And, you know, it's subjective.
So Westminster Kennel Club has our own figure skating, and we have the what is the one they call in figure skating, the fundamentals that they have to do, and then
Yes.
they get to do the fancy part, right?
That's kind of the same thing.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I love that.
Good analogy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool. And so you have been judging obedience for how many years?
40 years.
40 years? Are you serious?
40 years.
Wow.
That's true. I started in 1970.
It's kept you young.
I think my dogs have kept me young. I started in 1978.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Time flies.
And you compete in obedience with St. Bernards, which,
St.
okay,
Bernards.
I'm talking about, this is not a Golden Retriever.
No.
This is not a Border Collie. This is not even a Sheltie.
No.
This is a St. Bernard
This is a 170-pound dog.
that doesn't necessarily want to.
Oh, hey, they're a working breed. Let's not forget that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've done tracking with them,
Awesome.
which, that should be a normal.
Right,
They
right.
do
That would
find
seem like a
travelers
pretty
in the
basic.
snow. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I've done agility with them, master titles in agility.
Wow.
With one.
Are you
stick.
like the only mock St. Bernard in the world?
No, he's not a mock.
Oh, okay.
No. The one that I had that did everything ended up with 39 titles.
Oh my gosh.
And he was a champion.
Right.
So
Right.
it shows you can do both.
Absolutely.
And he did draft work, and he was an exceptional dog.
Those once in a lifetime
Oh,
dogs.
I know. And I've had other good ones in the past that have got utility titles, but this particular one, whose name was Chris, did really exceptionally well.
And did he have an Och?
No, there's only one St. Bernard that's ever achieved an Och, and that was in 1986.
Wow.
In the New Jersey area.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
That's a tough title.
It is a tough title. There's no question.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what kind of, I guess, special challenges or special,
Well,
to work with a breed that isn't normally in the obedience ring?
first of all, I chose my breed.
Yes.
So I have to accept the limitations that
Right.
might be. And some of those limitations, just to give you an example, in agility, you got the weave poles. And when I was competing in agility at the time with Chris, the weave poles were 22 inches apart. So you take a dog that's really long. I mean, he has to enter the weave poles at the end and go like a fish going upstream.
Yeah.
And then you got the 24-inch tunnel with a 30-inch dog. So it's like, stuffing a pork sausage as he ripples through the tunnel. So that cost me time
Right.
on the clock.
Right.
And then you had the dog walk. Well, I didn't want to run a 170-pound dog over the dog walk because they don't bounce too well if they fall off.
No.
So those were little limitations, and I had a lot of clean runs that, cost me on the clock where it didn't qualify. But that's okay. He did fine. In obedience, he did really well. I mean, we weren't a high-scoring dog, but there again, I don't train for a real high-scoring dog.
So you're looking for consistency.
I'm looking for consistency.
Okay.
That's what I wanted because I
Okay.
wanted a UDX title, and that's a title of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I don't put that much time into training, so
Interesting.
I can't, want a big 200 score if I don't do the work.
Yep.
So, and that's fine with me. And with that breed and the time that I want to put into training, which when I'm going for a title would be like 15 minutes a day, but every day.
Right.
When I'm doing it. So it becomes a teamwork type of thing then. And tracking is a little different. We go out into the fields and you start by baiting in the field and the dog finds the bait.
Mm-hmm.
And then you extend the length of times. I
Right.
had him up to a 3-hour track. He never got his TDX, unfortunately. He just kind of aged out at the end.
Right.
I left the real active stuff as far as jumping early in his
Mm-hmm.
life when he was really fit. And then items like tracking, which isn't as hard on the body for a
Right.
big dog.
Well, see, and there's the other piece of what you're working with. You're working with a breed that doesn't live forever,
Longevity. You
right?
bet. You bet.
And you've got what, 5-6 years,
Yeah,
realistically,
realistically.
to
depends-
accomplish what was it, 39 titles?
Yes.
Yeah.
It depends on the breed. I mean, the specific dog. He had agility runs when he was going at 9 years of age.
Wow.
Which is incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, a lot of obedience and any performance event is to have the dog fit.
Right.
And we do a lot of walks.
Good.
That's what keeps me in shape.
That's good. Keeps you young. You walk your
Walking
dogs.
my dog.
That's good. Okay, so advice to other people with a non-traditional obedience breed. Somebody out there with their Mastiff. I mean, what do you say to him?
Don't let people typecast you.
Good.
You know, if it's a Mastiff or a Saint Bernard, they can do it. They're not going to do it as fast as a Border Collie. Accept that, and set your goals, and make them easy goals to begin with, and then just start working at it. And like I said, it's 15 minutes a day when I'm really trying to train him. But you just keep working at it, and you start out with small goals, and you keep building on that. And you want to find a good instructor that will, accept what you're doing, that your goals are different than an OTCH, that you want a nice qualifying score. I kind of shot for the 185 to 194 range. That's kind of where I wanted to be, because that's the amount of training I put in.
Yep.
Why should I expect more,
Okay.
But I wanted them to be, accomplishing something.
Right.
So we did it that way.
Very good.
Yeah.
And just, you are someone, a wonderful person to talk about this, talking about dogs who compete in conformation, who compete in performance, and the ability to do all of these things. So again, some advice.
You can do them all. I mean, obedience is basically the foundation of everything.
Yes.
Conformation, you're training them for a stand for exam.
Exactly.
You're doing that in obedience. So when you're running around the ring of the conformation dog and you come up to the judge, you just kind of give him a stand signal. The dog stands. And then you can stack them.
Right.
Or you can teach the dog to true stack. They know. They know. I mean, there's the new dog that I have, Chris, he came to me Xavier, he came to me when he was 10 months of age, and I started training him right for the breed ring. And there was some times that he sat when I came to a halt, but I just stood him back up.
Right.
No problem.
No problem.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think it's also really important to understand that a conformationally sound dog is going to perform these
absolutely
working skills.
Absolutely. I mean, a conformation dog is by its standard, which is usually sound and fit if they're put together right.
Yep.
And you shouldn't be jumping a dog that's not sound.
Right.
And the conformation is a good blueprint for a performance dog. I mean, if they've got good conformation and you exercise them and keep them fit, they can do almost anything.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So tell me what you're most excited about for tomorrow.
Well, just getting out there and judging. There's going to be some pretty fantastic teams that I've been told will be here. There's a variety of breeds. We have a Chinese crested.
Fun.
There's golden retrievers. There's border collies. There's a German short hair pointer.
Wow.
There's an all-American breed.
Yes.
Dog here. And a German shepherd dog. And a few other breeds that don't come to mind right at the moment. But it's a good variety.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No Saint Bernards.
No, you're the only one with that kind of ambition, man. I'm just saying. Excellent. Well, John, thank you so very much for your time. We will be stopping by the ring tomorrow to cheer you on.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining Pure Dog Talk.
Absolutely.
And
it's been a pleasure.
Royal Canin sponsored event like this, our podcast, this is amazing.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Royal Canin, incredible in every detail.